Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Jonathan Knight here. Well, yeah, back to Blood Whistle, I guess. Day 2 of Halloween day 2 of October, and go figure, I'm going right back to a shit heap. Well, might as well continue where I left off. June 9th, 2012. It's me again. I had a horrible range of nightmares last night that are a direct result of playing this game. Some really weird stuff also went down. Before I get into today's gameplay, I'll have to go through them with you guys, so I'll have an interactive record of my dreaming habits related to this game. Do the audience need to know your dreaming habits? I mean, really, do they? I myself am having a hard time as to how they were so close to home and what they mean for my seemingly inevitable downfall. Before I tell this, I have to let you in on a bit of relevant information. In the 4th grade, I used to play the recorder. Every kid had to learn some musical skill, and I liked wind instruments because of their method of play, appearance, and sound. Such is the irony of the instrument that has caused me all of this grief. In my dream, I was playing the instrument in a dark room. I was my 4th grade self just coolly playing Mary Had a Little Lamb. Out of nowhere, I began to cough. I choked on some blood that had materialized within and around my recorder. It covered it, and soon had filled it. Blood began to pour in great quantity out of all of the recorder's holes. It soon began to float in midair and hover. A few seconds passed, and then it struck me in the chest. It had impaled me, going directly through my heart and every other vital artery one could think of. Other vital arteries? The heart's not an artery, dingus. It's a it's where the arteries lead from, but it itself is not an artery. If you meant the aorta, I'd get it. Anyway, I woke up, the sheets plastered to my chest with sweat. I was completely fine, not a scratch on me. As I sat there in bed, afraid of how I'm sure the game did this, or maybe it was just me losing my sanity, I began to hear noise coming from my laptop. It was close, but a faint muffled humming sound was clearly audible. I warily approached my computer, the machine almost looking alive. I then opened it up. Oh god. First Mario's alive, now your computer's alive? Really? Y- really? The tune of the it was a picture of Super Mario Bros. 3 Raccoon Mario, a sprite of him, on a black backdrop. He was chained up by his legs and feet, and the chains reached outside of the screen. The blood whistle sat as the centerpiece of it all through Mario's chest. The tune of the blood whistle played over and over, a loop that only exacerbated the sound within the walls of my psyche. I tried exiting out of whatever this program might have been, but the window wouldn't close. I eventually had to take out my laptop battery, which didn't sit too well on my OS. Luckily, I didn't lose any files. Now, back to the gameplay. I was on a weak imitation of the well-free level map. The water was none other than blood. Ravenous fish jumped out of the water, looks of primal hunger on their faces. There was something off about Mario's map representation that I noticed right away. Along with his raccoon tail, the blood whistle was now a permanent fixture through his body. His skin had dulled a little from its prior shade of grey, now more outwardly noticeable. His mustache now had dots of red clung to it as well. Without my or Mario's control, needless to say, I was moved to the first underwater stage. A cherry red tint absorbed the entire screen. This was to be expected as the water looked blood-ridden from the outside as well. I swam down the left middle level to get a fire mushroom. You mean a fire flower? As soon as Mario got it, his outfit changed. He got an evil simper on his face. Um, what's a simper? Hang on. Simper. Oh, here we go. Simper. An affectedly coquettish, coy, or ingratiating smile or gesture. Huh. Now we both know. If you didn't know already. Anyway. He looked at me and said, "Revenge! Yes?" I confirmed his suspicions, and then we set off for the danger that lay near. The fish cast malevolent gazes at Mario as he swam by, incinerating them. His normal happy smile returned. So did mine. The annihilation of the carnivorous critters didn't last long before both Mario and I faced a hellish dilemma. There was a large fish with rows of razor-sharp teeth. Below him were two power-up blocks, one black-looking and one purple-looking. I assumed that these were supposed to be, red and blue. Obviously there was no progress from this point without finding out what these blocks had in store. Mario's expression changed back into its gaunt appearance that he had for the majority of the game. Knowing I had no other choice, I daringly hit the block that was black in appearance on the left. The fish swam around from its position in top of us, and began to tear off Mario's limbs. But this time a group of fish had congregated around the entire scene. Their laughs were deep and short, registering as barks for the 8-bit sound processor. Mario's unable body wobbled as he bled out, spewing black across the red. When he finally died, the big fish began to laugh. After a couple of seconds, Mario's limbs regrew. Within the blue block remaining, I hit it to get this all over with. Bubbles stopped coming from Mario's mouth. He cried out for help, but that only made the problem worse. He sucked in tons of water, his hands around its neck. His face began to grow from gray to blue in a matter of moments. He kicked and fought, but he only wore himself down. Getting angry, he began to incinerate random fish that had gathered in the crowd. The fish began to laugh louder. For every fish he killed, two random fish that had gathered, two more appeared in its place. After a while, he just gave up. I watched as Mario uttered his last gurgle and walked free. The blood whistle stabbing and taking him away. I saved and quit with haste. See you all tomorrow. Okay. At least the bad rum is only minimal. Seriously. Again. Pebble Pros. Too much. Bro. Stop. But he can't. There's more. June 10th, 2012. Campus police gave me a visit today. Apparently one of you had reported my comments related to suicide and claimed I was insane. Could you blame them? Could you really blame them for worrying about your mental health? As a result, I have eliminated all personal information from this blog. I located the person who reported me and banned him. I also have an IP tracker, so don't any of you try that. Speaking of followers, 50,000? I never expected this page to accumulate this many active viewers. Wherever this popularity or notoriety came from, I am grateful. Now for today's gameplay. After today, I'll be lucky to finish the game. Princess Toadstool's letter appeared after the previous screen from World 3 faded out. She was squirming and shifting around. Bowser's hand had covered her mouth and nose, but it was easy to see the fear in her eyes. They darted left and right and stopped. True fear. Bowser continued to have that sadistic smile on his face as he struggled with her. After about a minute and a half, Peach began to change. Her eyes grew an ominous red, as in the past tense of read, as she pushed Bowser's arm away with an inhuman strength. She cackled like a loon, blue veins bulging so noticeably that they were clearly visible through her white satin gloves. Bowser then began to cower in timidity. Then? Didn't mean then. God. The text on the letter said only this. Blood whistle. Hear its cry. Peak. The letter scene was abruptly cut off and the Wild 4 level select map was brought into view. Goombas and Koopas of all sizes appeared, furious and hungry as ever. This addition made sense. This was the giant tiny world. The shown enemies would be dimensioned as such. The normally green grass was withered and dead. The small patches of water were blood. Mario was still in the fireball fatigues that he had donned in World 3. And compared to the other worlds, the map view for this one was vastly less disturbing. I would go as far to call this tolerable. Mario moved towards 4-1, into whatever nightmarish scenario this stage had to offer. The stage had the usual kinks of any level in this game. The sky was black, which made the white clouds vibrant in contrast. A reverse version of the ground level once again played. The wood, as it had been before, was decaying and wasting away beneath Mario's feet. The pipes were fading and cracked in various places. All of the enemies still possessed the same carnivorous looks of their inter-game counterparts. There was, oddly enough, a startling abundance of them. Koopas and Goombas danced around in a ritualistic manner. Mario was visibly petrified as he tried to avoid them, my arrow keys keeping them inches away from his life. Amidst all of the din, there hovered a solitary power-up block. Regular appearance. Nothing was outwardly off about this, which greatly surprised me. Not knowing what horrid item it contained, I bumped it in blind vain. Maybe it could help me. You can most likely infer from the intonation I made in the preceding paragraph that I was completely mistaken. What appeared next is what I dreaded. That damned wish saw. It was sitting there, blood washing over it, as it rose from the yellow square. It sat there, almost beckoning my name. With the imposing enemies, I knew I had no other choice. I took the one from its place, fruitlessly hoping for the best, readily expecting the worst. The on-screen foes ceased all activity. Their faces returned to a neutral, blank state. 5 minutes they stood in place like this, not moving a muscle. I jumped around and tried to kill them, but to no avail. It's almost as if they were frozen within the confines of time itself. As if this is for specifically them. All interstellar and physical continuity came to a careening halt. Then they began to move. After the first couple did, I realized what truly was going on. This was a mass suicide. Most of them would just jump down into the nearest hole, but others performed incredible feats of acrobatics and medical impossibility. One Koopa was bashing his head against the pipe. Another Goomba jumped 6 or 7 times his own height, turned around in the air and sent blood flying everywhere with a great splat. Soon all of the enemies were dead. Their remains were spontaneously upchucked from the trench below. A grisly mixture of guts and gore littered the entire remainder of the level. Mario shuffled through the remains, horrified with tears streaming down his face throughout. Random, deep, bassy tones played with nothing else to accompany them. Realistic squishy sounds were emitted every time Mario took a step in the scattered carnage. He continued to cry for the duration of the level. The whistle faded into view and followed Mario a few inches above his head like a pestilential virus. After he heard it, of course, the whistle went straight through his chest and Mario was headed to World 5. The game has a habit of putting me where it needs me to be, so I closed the window without saving. Witnessing all of that death really wrecked my nerves. Sure, it might be a game, but with things this game and is meant to present to me, I'm starting to lose my perception of reality. I'm starting to wonder to myself what is real and what's inside the computer. It's kind of obvious. What's inside the computer is 8-bit. What's not is not. It shouldn't be that hard. Right, kid? Right? These two things are quickly fusing into one. Yeah, that guy who was wondering about your sanity, I more than see his or her point for now. 'Cause yeah, if 8-bit reality and reality are starting to fuse into one, there might be something wrong with you. Anyway, the lines, they're blurring. Pretty soon the days will start fading together, and by then I'll have lost all sense of reality. I hope to see you all tomorrow. I don't know how much longer I can put up with this game. Oh, it's not a game. I couldn't tell you what it is. June 11th, 2012. Today being D-Day fits, because I'm fighting one hell of a war against this game, and losing one at that. Oh yeah, June 11th. The D-Day landings in France. The day World War II started to turn around in favor of the Allies. Cool, cool. Anyway, at least there are no more mishaps with you all so far, which puts me at rest. As of today's gameplay, I fear for my own life. I feel as if nothing is coming after me. Sorry, something is coming after me. Lurking, seeking me out as to make immediate of my demise. Never before has anything like this ever happened. Never before has anything electronic made me truly afraid. Truly scared. They mean the same thing. God damn it. You fucking idiot. I most likely will get no sleep tonight. Nothing in particular occurred, it's just... Oh, you'll find out below. I was in the middle of the cloud portion of World 5. The Skype beam played, except it was drastically slow, and demonic whispers were clearly audible. The whispers were almost the same as the ones I had heard back in World 2. Mario was outfitted with the Tanuki suit, which naturally suited the environment. There was nothing there except two things: a red dot and a card game. The card game icon looked similar enough to the regular game's clone, except the spades rolled across a red background instead of a blue one. Now, for whatever reason, I was allowed to choose which path to take. I chose the card game, hoping it would serve as some sort of reprieve from all this madness. That was not the right choice. Toad didn't explain the rules of the game like normal. Instead, I was plunged into the rolling slots. Besides the slots, it was a risky scenario. Toad was on a guillotine. He looked at the camera with timid, teary eyes. He also was vigorously shaking his head. He shook his hand in a futile effort to free himself from this appalling apparatus, but nothing came of it. The entire picture engulfed me so much I didn't even notice the slots. I cautiously pressed them, trying as best as I could to line them up given the stress of the situation. I failed, and had to pay the personal price. The blade fell with breathtaking speed. Toad was beheaded right then and there. His head did a couple of spins in the air before landing in a convenient place nearby the basket. The initial spins splayed blood across the white room. Blood filled the basket and filled it up. Toad's body spraying blood from the stump where his head used to be. Out of nowhere, the blood whistle came down and struck his torso. The scene faded out and back to the map. I was moved to the only remaining destination in World 5. Silent lightning streaked across the licorice black sky. Gray clouds and Mario were the only other consistently visible things. As far as everything goes, silhouettes of winged demons flew and danced in the background. I tried turning it into the stone structure the Tanuki suit is famous for, but it failed. No music played, none at all. The demons could be heard whispering in what sounded like a variety of languages. Spanish, German, and Latin were the most prevalent ones. Okay, one question. Why German and Spanish? Latin I kinda get since, well, pretty much all demonic rituals I've heard are mudded in Latin, but German? Spanish? That just seems weird. Oh well, back to the story. A primal fear of the unknown gripped me as I blindly navigated the level. Judging by the look on Mario's face, it plagued him also. This stemmed from my childhood, which made it all the worse. I not only felt like Mario was in danger, I felt like my livelihood and the well-being and my well-being were in danger. At that moment, one of the demons swooped down. I would say the most accurate way to describe this creature would be a miniature Cthulhu. Its claws plucked out Mario's eyes, making them profusely bleed. He unleashed an ephemeral, yet bone-chilling cry. After the searing pain relented, Mario trudged on. His face was now void of any and all expression. It was because he knew as well as I did that he would be torn apart. Brutally and slowly, but it would happen. After a few more seconds, the second demon came. It was identical in appearance to the first. It swooped down with grim black bat wings and did its portion of damage. After it was said and done, the thing had torn Mario's arms off. Mario stopped dead in his tracks. He sobbed loudly, knowing the worst was yet to come. I felt sorry for him. But the words that I felt so sorry for him that the words escaped me. He continued with a morose look. You calling Mario an idiot? Wait, that is the context he's using morose. Right. Oh. I've never really gotten the word morose. Sullen and ill-tempered. God fucking damn it. Why? Why did you use the word morose? Could you solemn, miserable, upset? Instead, you go with a word that, let's face it, most people aren't going to know morose for that meaning. Well, at least in my case. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. His normal walk slowed to a shuffle, and a few seconds after that, the final solitary spectre came down. He did his work with one big slash. Mario was now without his legs, and his lump of a body sat there. He sadly wept in utter despair. He knew the end was near. He turned to me and choked out this. I'm sorry you had to witness everything. Those were his last spoken words on World 5 before a gaggle of Hell's minions descended and tore apart what remained of him. His entrails were liberally exposed as they regurgitated in their cruel feast. When the dust cleared, a mere shell of him remained. All you could see of his open stomach were his open spine and back muscles. As I had predicted, the blood whistle came to transport him to whatever hellish situation it contemplated would be worse than the last. Consider it sheer luck if I make another post tomorrow. If I do, it may be my last. June 12th, 2012. Trying not to care anymore. I am in the throes of such a severe depression, it's starting to fade away. Everything. School, friends, family. It's safe to say this game is single-handedly ruining my life. Such sadness has never come before me, ever before in my life. My grandfather died when I was young, but that didn't come close to equate to what I'm feeling now. It's a direct result of the level I played today, which I'll get into right now. World 6 appeared. Ice was everywhere. This is the one thing that correlated to the unaltered version. Nothing else did. The ice was none other than frozen, realistic blood. Realism! Again! Fuck! Crystallized red pieces of crimson droplets bordered the ice blocks. Blood filled in the small pockets of water that were. Of course, there was only a solitary dot on the map. Mario entered it, and I knew whatever was to pass. It would be tenfold of what had already happened. Pure silver white was the only thing that constituted the backdrop. Blocks of blood ice served as a slippery ground. Mario slid along as I controlled him. He appeared happy. Overjoyed might be more accurate. He had nothing to deal with. Just him and the open space. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. All the way through, Mario was happy, so I let him run around and fly. He had regained the Tsunuki tail. It seemed that he had all the time in the world. The clock ticked and ticked, and all seemed right in the game. Making my way through the level, I found it had no end. Time, oddly enough, would turn out to be the ultimate enemy. At the 20-minute mark, the tempest began to pick up. A flurry of snow and wind ensnared Mario, and he began to curl his tail. His teeth chattered and his body shook. He soon had to sit down. Mario and I soon figured out how the game would plan to snuff him out this time. With ice and time. He sat and tried to get himself up. This, needless to say, was a less than feeble attempt. Nothing but the creepy bass beasts from World 5 played. Mario's skin soon began to change a light blue. Nevertheless, he still sat and brooded in the ice cold. It was then that the utmost feeling of sadness had encapsulated me. I couldn't fathom my sympathy. I couldn't begin to describe how bad I felt at the fact that his death was absolutely inevitable, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. Again, same thing, you idiot. Just simply watching, shocked and dejected all. Frostbite soon took his hands. 10 minutes after that, World 6 Mario was no more. Just a frozen block of a man, sitting there in the middle of an infinite winter wilderness. After the sadness came feelings of sheer loneliness. I felt abandoned and alone, just like Mario sitting in the middle of that ice field. I felt as if no one would save me from the torture of this game. The blood whistle came down and made a chunk sound as it impaled his chest, taking him away to the next level of hell. I closed the emulator window like always, and ended this self-subjected torture. I will bring myself to play this game, however, mark my words. I'll play the last tomorrow, and then this blog will hopefully live on in my memory, so my tribulation can be seen by the world. Be here. Same time, same place. Anyway, just need to check it. Holy shit, I'm nearly at the end of this. Yeah, June 13th, 2012. It's ironic indeed that today is June 13th. The unlucky number, the unlucky day. What's so significant about June 13th, 2012? What could be so significant for June 13th, 2012? Okay, let's see. 13. Is it just the number 13? Fucking hell. The unlucky day, by the way, is not just a random 13th day. An unlucky number is generally Friday the 13th, but June 13th, 2012 was on a Wednesday. Not really the unlucky day, just the unlucky number. Anyway, I suppose today isn't completely horrible. Today is the last day I had to play this wretched game. Dude, you could have stopped earlier. Much earlier. This horrifyingly absurd remake of what I used to see as a wonderful game will soon be out of my life. It should have been out of your life earlier. Second you notice something off, should have deleted the shit. Along with everything else. Real subtle. Anyway, with this being the last post, I suppose I can finally be honest about my true intentions ever since I finished World 2. I'm going to take my own life. No shit, Sherlock. It was mentioned in the foreword. It was mentioned, I don't know, about 5 times before we got to the day. And it's even kind of mentioned in the hinted at in the very paragraph you say you're going to commit suicide. This game has caused me sorrow on such an ineffable level that there is no other option. I can think of a couple options. Get help, you idiot! Life will never be the same. See previous comment. Mom and Dad, I love you. Michael and Kelsey, you guys be good. Listen to Mom and Dad. They have a lot of valuable lessons to teach you. Lessons that I learned but can never really apply again. Now for what you 75,000 followers will read this post for. The rest of the game. Hell itself is what this game brought me to. I suppose that this was intended to convey, no, not hell. Worse than hell. Bodies were chained up in the background, enduring a myriad of tortures. The only pain wasn't that what only pain wasn't strictly felt from the injuries though. Coughs, dying, wheezes, and vomiting in the background reeked of pestilence and suffering. Can sounds really smell? Fires emblazoned certain people as well. The flames had an actual burning quality to them. Not like regular 8-bit fire. Flesh, eyes, and other internal organs and tissue constitute the walls and the ground. If the hell I'm in certainly exists. If the hell I'm certainly going to exist, I think it looked something like this. Marston, a possessed Princess Toadstool. Her dress was ripped in several places, splattered with blood. Her eyes gleamed red, the flames casting an evilly maniacal allure to her appearance. Bowser and his 6 sons were tied to wooden poles with terrified looks on their faces. Wendy, for some reason, didn't appear anywhere in the game. In one hand, Peach brandished a sizable dagger. In the other, the blood whistle. She walked over to Mario and looked him in the eyes. The technical limitation slightly hindered the interpretation of what events passed, but it was easy enough to understand what was going on. Through his gag, Bowser pleaded with her not to harm him. She brought the knife close to him and he froze up. He was obviously paralyzed with fear. Her mouth got close to his ear. And text rolled along the bottom of the screen, conveying the text of what played out given in the sound limitations. This is what enabled Mario to speak in the past. She whispered. Bowser's image spilled onto the floor in a great heap. He let out a monstrous 8-bit roar of pain as this happened. Peach laughed, her red eyes reflecting whatever evil had possessed her. The princess proceeded to eviscerate all 6 of his other sons. Mario did nothing but look on in horror as his mortal enemies were torn apart by a woman he had loved very much. His face soon contorted into one of loathing. He had come all of this way to find out the very girl he wished to save had been taken over by an extraterrestrial evil. Do you know it's evil? Sorry, do you know it's alien evil? Sure it's not a demon? An evil that would not only haunt Mario, but me as well. You should have quit the game while you were ahead. Anyway, the sort of evil that doesn't go away when you turn off the game. The kind of dark force that follows you to your bedchambers and steals your soul. Princess Toadstool paused for a couple of seconds, then came to Mario with a knife. Hey there, Mario, she said as she toyed with the knife. They got a little sharp with me, so I pushed them over the edge. I tried to move Mario, but nothing happened. He stood there, afraid of what she would do. She brutally slashed open his arms, legs, and abdomen. Shortly thereafter, the princess produced some salt from her billowing dress and sprinkled it all over him. He screamed again, unmoving. The Princess Peach you used to know is now long gone. The power of the blood was consumed that girl, and made way for me. Speaking of which, she continued as she produced the blood whistle, here it is. Hear its cry. With a mocking kiss on the cheek, she began to play Mario the first song of the blood whistle. Its notes rotted away the last reserve of good in him. He was heaved by an invisible force into the flames. He cried out as they consumed him. Peach chucked the whistle, making it strike him directly in the heart. He continued to wallow in utter anguish as she walked away. As she laughed, she looked into my eyes, and bore me this parting message via the text at the bottom of the screen. Sorry, this was Mario saying that, so when I said she, I meant say he. Anyway, do not let your life be as painful as mine was. I do not hold reservations against you, as you tried your best to keep me alive. I commend you for that. Goodbye, Bradley, and good luck. The tune of the blood whistle continued to play as the screen panned out of Mario's house. How he knew my name was Bradley continues to befuddle me. For all of a few hours? Really? Always a few minutes. Anyway, moving on. How could how he could have such depth, such personality. I don't know whether this is a result of the game being as haunted as it truly is, or the fact that someone could have been captured in this realm. Whatever the reason of this, of everything that's come to pass with this abomination, I'm glad I'm finally done. I've made all my goodbyes at the beginning of this post. I hope one of you takes the time to save this blog, or at the very least, to show the world the true hell I have put myself through. I sure hope that the demented creator of this game isn't festering in the same hell I'm headed for. Goodbye, everyone. Holy shit, that was actually kind of depressing. Anyway, the aftermath. The last section. This blog post was the last recorded statement of Bradley before his death. His roommate discovered him 4 hours after he made the last post. Bradley committed suicide using a recorder that he plunged through his trachea. You committed suicide by stabbing yourself in the neck with a recorder. Right. Well, that wraps up Blood Whistle. What do I think? What do you think? The story is fucking awful. Jesus Christ. Oh, by the way, there are actually two rewrites of this. Poop Whistle and, well, I'm not going to say it here. I'll let you try and find it yourself. Let's just say it's a word-for-word rewrite, but replacing a few words here and there. Either way, I'm done. No more. No more of this god-awful story. That said, enjoy the rest of your October. Later, ladies and gentlemen.